6:30 on the dot. Welcome to Up with KREM. I am Joshua Robinson, and this morning the polls have officially closed, and we are getting a closer look at continually gathering numbers about the presidential primary. Let's take a close look at the latest numbers that we have so far. Presidential primary Democratic candidate race in Washington is very close right now. Both Bernie Sanders and Joe Biden have 33% of the votes right now. Meanwhile, for the presidential primary Democratic candidate in Idaho, Joe Biden has been declared the winner with 99% of precincts reporting so far, and Bernie Sanders, of course, receiving 42% this morning. Meanwhile, Idaho's presidential primary Republican candidate Donald Trump is winning with 94%, followed by Bill Weld with 2% of the overall votes. Now, KREM 2's Taylor Vito spent yesterday visiting polling places, and he reported just outside of Kootenai County's elections office.
From the moment the polls closed at 8 last night, we saw several staff members making their way into the Kootenai County elections office here in Coeur d'Alene. 20 Democratic delegates were up for grabs last night. Of course, President Trump is expected to have no issues winning Idaho come November in that election. Consider what happened last night, though, the calm before the storm, arguably, before Idaho's May primary election. In North Idaho on Tuesday, a classic look as voters went to the polls in person as opposed to mailing their ballots in. Voters could choose from not just the GOP and Democratic ballots, but also a third ballot for the Constitution Party and their half a dozen candidates. At this polling location at a Coeur d'Alene fire station, elections volunteers kept somewhat busy.
It's been slow and steady, regular, very few moments have we had no one here voting.
This location registered at least half a dozen new voters. It's not surprising to think that there are new Idahoans voting in this election. The state, of course, was the fastest growing state in the country last year. Volunteers here told us they don't typically see voter registrations this early, but that represents good momentum going into May.
I think the May election, because that's the state and local elections, are going to be much more interesting for the people.
May's primary in Kootenai County will have voters picking county commissioner candidates and a sheriff candidate, among other races. It'll be a more complicated ballot with what staff expect to be an even bigger turnout.
But in May, it's all going to be the local people. You know, the state representatives, the state senators, the sheriff's race.
In addition to the GOP and Democratic ballots, Idaho voters also had the option of voting in the Constitution Party primary. That third-party ballot featured 6 candidates for president. Idaho's Constitution Party, though, has about 3,300 registered members statewide. In Coeur d'Alene, Taylor Vito, KREM 2 News.
Thank you, Taylor. And of course, we know that all of these election numbers can tend to be a bit overwhelming at times, but if you want a full list of all of the election numbers, both in Washington and in Idaho, you can text the word results to 509-448-2000 for one quick and easy way to get those results for you this morning. Of course, we're going to transition now into weather. I know a lot of people, Evan, are looking forward to Friday already. They know what's kind of in your forecast, but kind of a calmer start today, right?
Yeah, still pretty mild as we kick off your now Wednesday morning. It looks like we're starting off the day with dry conditions, and we're seeing just a couple very light snow showers appear off toward the North Idaho Panhandle and around western Montana, mainly gracing the mountaintop. So as we go on through the afternoon, we're expecting partly cloudy skies today. Not much to note on satellite radar. When we transition to our cloud cover, you can see the more vibrant white colors indicate thicker clouds. Those are right along I-90, meaning as we wake up, Spokane could see mostly cloudy skies, but those clouds will part as the day goes on. We're looking for a high of 51 today. Temperatures cool down over the next several days, though, and then snow and rain move in for Friday. That's the day that we see significant changes, some blistery wind. We've got those temperatures cooling down tremendously overnight and in the afternoon, and then, of course, rain and snow back in the mix. So we'll have more details in just a few minutes on what exactly we're looking forward to, but for now, today, a dry, mild day. It is 6:34 right now. Back over to you.
Thank you very much, Evan. A sex education bill just needs Governor Jay Inslee's signature to become law. Now, this bill passed last week and will require mandatory sex education in grades K through 12. Now, critics are set to protest the bill here in Spokane. Nicole Hernandez joins us live outside of the Spokane Public Schools office, where parents are expected to gather for that protest later today. Good morning, Nicole.
Good morning, Joshua. In just a few hours at noon, parents are going to be coming down here to the Spokane Public Schools District office, showing that they do not agree with this potential new law about sex education here in Washington. Parents are also saying that they're going to be keeping their kids home from school for the day as a part of this protest. They're saying even though they are protesting at our local district, they're actually hoping to get the attention of legislators over in Olympia. And parents aren't the only ones upset about this bill. The Meade School District Board of Directors also says they do not want to see this bill move forward anymore. Meade School District actually wrote a letter to Jay Inslee. They asked him to veto the bill. That letter says, quote, "We strongly believe school districts should have the majority control when it comes to establishing learning standards in the area of sexual health education." So over 3,000 people have actually joined this Facebook group here. There's post after post of parents and people upset over this potential new law here. Some people are so upset that they're saying they're considering even homeschooling their kids or taking them out of state if this law were to become actual law and Jay Inslee signs it into law. So I'll send things over to Dana Marie now in the newsroom.
Nicole, now a lot of people are talking about this statewide education bill that has passed. It's trending online, and like you said, people are even thinking about keeping their kids home from school today. Now, if we break down the bill, sex education is at a very basic level. We'll start in kindergarten. Key topics would include the differences between boys and girls, way to express gender, and they will not be talking about reproduction, which I think has a lot of parents worried. Then the shift happens in 4th grade, where students will discuss LGBTQ issues, contraceptive, pregnancy, sexually transmitted diseases, and then the topic of consent, affirmative consent, will be talked about. And we asked for your opinions on this new bill, and we actually got in a couple of comments. So this person said the sex education bill will be a reach of government into the family and religious rights. Here at the bottom, this person said the bill doesn't even allow for a child to be opted out. Now, I want to just clarify that statement right now. That is not true. If you are a parent of a child at a school, you actually have the right to review and look at the curriculum before it's taught. You also have the opportunity to opt out, and schools have to tell you when this is being taught. Now, on the other side of it, we got another comment coming in saying that knowledge is power. Children need all the knowledge they can get about everything. The more they know about their own bodies and the potential issues that may ensue, the better. And that person is saying, no, Governor Inslee, please do not veto this bill. So there's people on both sides of the issue. We're asking you to weigh in this morning. Do you think that Governor Jay Inslee should veto this bill? You can vote in our megaphone on KREM.com/vote or at our KREM 2 mobile app. Also, we're taking these comments like this. I'm loving seeing what you're having to say on 509-448-2000. All right, it is 6:37. I'll send it over to you, Jen.
All right, Dana Marie, thank you so much. Verifying some of that information for you this morning. 6:38 now. Multiple agencies are expected to come together this week to share information about the case of 2 missing Idaho children. The meeting is scheduled to happen in Salt Lake City. Now, last week, the world watched as Lori Vallow stood before an Idaho judge for the first time. Her children, JJ Vallow and Tylee Ryan, disappeared in September. Vallow is due in court next week for a preliminary hearing. Prosecutors will show what evidence they have against Vallow implicating her in her children's disappearance. They will also give the defense time to cross-examine witnesses and examine the evidence.
She would likely, through her lawyer, cross-examine everyone who does present indirect evidence, to have them admit that they have no idea that she has done anything untoward or inappropriate with her children, that they don't know where the children are.
The former attorney also said we could see one of 2 potential outcomes from the preliminary hearing.
Number one, the evidence will not be sufficient. The case will be dismissed by the magistrate judge and the defendant discharged. Or in the alternative, if the evidence is adjudged to be sufficient, the defendant will be bound over to appear before the district court, where all felony cases in Idaho are actually tried.
For now, Vallow remains in jail on a $1 million bond. Of course, that is a developing story. You can find updates on our website, KREM.com, and the KREM 2 mobile app. You can also text us the word missing to 509-448-2000 for the latest updates on the case.
All right, thank you so Much switching gears now, 6:39. It's time for your speed feed stories you'll see on social media this morning. So let's get a look at what's trending. Okay, there's nothing like sending a text you didn't mean to send, right? You always wish you could take it back, especially if you sent it to the wrong person. Well, now there's a feature in the works to unsend text message. According to rumors, Apple is reportedly testing it right now, but it would only work through iMessage. And it's something you probably wouldn't notice just immediately, but Starbucks is planning to change up its cups. They'll look the same as the old ones, but the liner inside will now be compostable instead of plastic. Starbucks will be asking its baristas for feedback on if the new cups keeps drinks hot and avoids leaks. It's kind of nice to make it a little bit more environmentally friendly.
Oh yeah.
If they're able to make it, workable, this is a great thing.
I'm also very interested, by the way, in that text story too. I think it's really interesting that they're working on an unsend. I mean, how often have we all sent a text that we kind of?
But you read it. A lot of people have already read it. So then and then I think it would just have a lot of confusion.
Yeah.
Because if I read a text message at 3 a.m. when I wake up and someone unsent it, I'd be like, did I dream that? I have no idea.
Especially for our schedule.
Yeah.
Right? I don't know what's
I don't know,
happening.
was that actually sent to me?
Gmail already has an unsend email. If you send, if you do it within, a couple minutes or whatever of when you send it. So it's about time if you have it via text message. It's 2020, right? I don't know.
Interesting.
Yeah, I think I don't know where they would do that, if maybe there's like a standard for time, maybe if it's red, you can't do it anymore. I don't know. It'll be interesting to see if they come out with that.
All right, it is 6:41 now. Let's take a live look outside.
The break, we're talking about rain and snow in the forecast. Stay with us here on Up with KREM.
And congratulations to Lisa Turner. You just won 2 Up with KREM coffee mugs and a bag of Thomas Hammer coffee, along with a $10 gift card to Thomas Hammer Coffee Roasters. Now, if you want to join Lisa for your own chance to win, you can follow our Up with KREM Facebook page and follow the instructions there.